It is the 28th of the 10th, 2013, and this is your Radioactive Reality. I'm going to begin tonight by speaking out to my fellow broadcasters, my fellow YouTube people who are actually putting videos out to YouTube and the net. With the view count, the low view count, I made an observation as far as the comparison of my video count to my channel total count. That's probably about 10 to 1. Coming close to 3 million total views. This is why I've been paying attention lately, not to brag or anything, but I just made this observation as far as, so don't be discouraged by low video count numbers. It is getting out there. They're just suppressing it. Any news? Film, young Fukushima douses herself with gasoline, then lights it. Asks, quote, why did this nuclear disaster happen to us? Whenever she cries, and I watched this documentary, and it's about a family who moved back to a radioactive zone, and her dealing with her depression and the illnesses and whatnot, what's going on with their location. There is a video attached to this link, and yeah, definitely worth watching. Fukushima farmer sees 16 of his 30 horses die suddenly this year, mainly the young ones. No disease, no parasitic worms, high cesium levels. Quote, daughter tried to commit suicide. Do you think it's really okay with this situation in Japan? NYTimes Experts, Fukushima is having bigger effect on environment than we expected. We don't know what's happening. Radioactive releases from the plant spiking this year. Quote, worrisome problems. TV, like they're melting. A lot of melting sea stars out there, says Seattle biologist, Veterinarian. It's concerning. In under a week, roughly 60% of the species are sick or dying. Quote, same thing's happening near Canada, and nobody's sure why. A lot of people are screaming Fukushima, Fukushima, Fukushima about this. These particular starfish. The point I want to make is during that great tsunami, the industrial coastline that is Japan, God only knows what was swept out into the ocean and purged into the Pacific and is now coming up against the coast of the United States and Canada. It's not just the radiation we're dealing with here. It's not just the radiation. Nothing like this has ever been attempted. Yale professor, quote, all of humanity will be threatened for thousands of years if rods in Unit 4 pool, touch, and have nuclear reaction during removal process. TEPCO, quote, not clear if fuel is already damaged. Yeah, we trust what TEPCO says. We already know number 4 already burned, and humanity has been threatened for thousands of years. It's in the NRC documents. Water released at Fukushima plant as typhoon passes off coast. Big surprise. Government expert, possible aftershocks around magnitude 7 will occur once in a while. 3 quakes reported up to magnitude 5.5. Japan is on a highly active earthquake zone and volcanic to boot. The entire island is sliding into the Pacific, geologically ever so slowly. And we are just the fleas on the back of a greater being. Fukushima documents discuss fuel that is severely damaged inside the cooling pools. They have illustrations of deformed or leaking fuels and their attempts and plans to clean it up, blah, blah, blah. The insanity continues. Physicians, interesting fact for West Coast in new UN report. 95% of Fukushima discharges transported in Pacific. Contamination to impact North America with uncertain consequences for public health. A chemist, concerned over recent releases, quote, they are changing in character. What's going on with those corium under the ground, under the Pacific Ocean right now? TEPCO publishes the land of collapse at Fukushima nuclear plant due to recent typhoon. You remember I reported they had a landslide during the recent typhoon. They went ahead and released those pictures now that it's out that it happened. Footage shows minute-long quake shaking Fukushima nuclear plant, includes broadcasts from CTV, NHK, blah, blah, blah. Fukushima official, quote, it was a fairly big and rattled, quite a bit. But there wasn't any damage. Don't worry, folks. Everything's under control. And of course, the 7.3 magnitude quake that hit. I'm hearing reports that several of them hit. Head researcher is sounding the alarm almost 1,000 days later over striking changes in killer whales off of Canada and Alaska since 2011. Quote, unusually high mortality rate and odd behavior. Expert fears something's wrong with the environment. What could it be? What could it be? New York Times, worrisome evidence at Fukushima plant, quote, latest release appear to be carrying much more contaminated water than before into the Pacific. Expert, quote, no precedent for what's happening. We are on untrodden ground. Yes, we are. And yes, it is. And it's spiking. It continues and continues to spike. So much for that one-time release theory, huh? All those charts you see about the contamination passing over the Pacific and hitting the West Coast and polluting the Pacific is based on a one-time release. Now you take that diagram and you stack it 900, almost 1,000 times. Well, what are we at? 962, 963 today? Reuters special, workers are tricked into being on front lines at Fukushima plant. Quote, you can't escape. They kept me in a shed. There's nowhere else to go. Everyone is stuck. Quote, you're brainwashed. After a few days, they're thrown away. They burn you up and they spit you out. All at minimum wage. And again, it goes on and on and on. Over to Fukushima Diary Daily News. They have a couple stories I want to cover today. Groundwater reaches the surface of the ground on the seaside of reactor number 2. All this rain and all the blah blah blah, it's all stacking up, and it really is this big cauldron, this big mud pit that continues to leach and leach and leach. Fuel removal for reactor 4 will continue until December 2014. Didn't we just get a story saying that this could take decades? Average number of days spent in Fukushima Hospital for heart disease decreased by 54% since 2008. Apparently people are dying faster. Cesium-134, 137 density in marine soil of offshore Fukushima spiked up this September over 10 times as much as they tested in August. Why are they only testing this stuff once a month and not once a day? Or having monitors down there so they can continually monitor this area is beyond me. But you'll have to ask the lawyers. They're the ones running the show now. And that's about all I have for you tonight, folks. Of course, if I missed anything, please let me know. Attach your comments or videos below. Or you can't do that anymore, can you? So go ahead and send me a personal message. Enjoy while you can, everybody. Thanks.